Did you know that the water we use every day is the same water that was consumed by dinosaurs more than 165 million years ago? We just keep recycling the same water from decade to decade, from century to century. The same water, over and over again. Water, second only to oxygen, is the most essential element to life on our planet. Without it, life would cease to exist. Water has been taken for granted for thousands of years. It dissolves almost everything it comes into contact with, and during this process, water becomes like a soup. The soup will vary depending on where your water comes from, but in today's world, the number of ingredients that form this soup would impress even the most sophisticated chef. Both natural and man-made pollutants end up in our drinking water. Before water falls to the ground as rain, it's already picked up some of the soup's ingredients. Carbon dioxide, smoke, smog, molds, bacteria, and more are gathered in rainwater before it ever reaches the ground. Have you ever heard of the term acid rain? The cycle continues after rain falls to the ground. Once here, it picks up toxic chemicals from industrial waste, such as phosphates, nitrates, herbicides, pesticides, arsenic, and more. Now the soup's getting thicker. Now the water begins to soak into the ground, and as it works its way down towards the aquifer, it dissolves a little bit of everything it contacts. Calcium, iron, magnesium, hydrogen sulfide, mercury, salinity, and countless other substances that are in the ground end up in our drinking water. The soup is almost ready to serve, but now we pump this water up to the surface, filter out the large sediment, and usually disinfect it with heavy doses of toxic chlorine to kill any bacteria, viruses, or molds in the water. Now, with the new chlorine added and the byproducts of chlorine treatment, such as trihalomethanes, it's pumped to your house to drink. No wonder bottled water is so popular and expensive. Eric Olson of the Natural Resources Defense Council stated, "Millions of Americans are exposed to health-threatening microorganisms and toxic chemicals due to widespread and often undisclosed contamination of their drinking water." A report by Mr. Olson's group found more than 250,000 violations of the Safe Drinking Water Act, affecting more than 120 million people in a one-year period. The report also found 43% of U.S. water systems experienced violations, including more than 15,000 episodic or chronic violations of federal health standards for drinking water. Systems that serve over 28 million people. Since consumers believe tap water is always safe, and federal enforcement of drinking water regulations are lax, many utilities have let water quality slide, sometimes at the expense of human health, Mr. Olson said. The attitude is, until there's a big body count, there's not a problem, says James Elder, former head of the EPA's Office of Groundwater and Drinking Water. He said, "We haven't documented many major outbreaks, so everybody claims the system is working. With over 70,000 chemicals now in use, and with the introduction of 1,000 more each year, drinking water contamination is increasing at an alarming rate." Existing treatment plants were not designed to remove the new toxic chemicals and microbes, and the government is slow to regulate the high rate of contamination. The budgetary demand to treat such a large problem is overwhelming. Responsible citizens are left to educate and protect themselves from the world's greatest environmental threat: chemically contaminated water. The executive director of the Water Quality Association says we have reached a breaking point beyond which central treatment can no longer go. People's knowledge of water comes from beer commercials focused on the land of blue waters or mountain streams. The public thinks water in these sources is pure, but it's not. Really pure water is a man-made product.